Howard and Guy, Disclosure. Welcome to the Fox. How are you guys?
Yeah, we're great.
Saw you last night. So first of all, amazing show. So
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
no, it was really good fun.
What are you've got those, like you're each at those sort of setups. Like you've got like a workstation.
Yeah.
Sort of setup which has got like cymbals and drum machines and all kinds of stuff like welded onto it. Like
Yeah, that's right. We kind of built them from scratch.
that's what I was going to ask. Like,
Yeah.
Surprisingly, there's no company that builds
that
those.
does that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't just
If
go
you want
buy
one,
that.
you have to come to us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, everyone's kind of got their own way of doing it. Doing electronic music live, and it's definitely difficult to achieve. To really kind of make a connection with the crowd that they can understand what's going on stage. Because there's a lot of people who do amazing technical stuff live using computers and drum machines, like you said, but imagine if you're the person at the back of a 10,000 strong room, you're not going to be able to understand someone just sort of twiddling and pressing. So yeah, we wanted to do something with acoustic instruments like drums and guitar and bass and singing. So yeah, there's a lot more of that. It's a lot more like watching a band kind of, or like bits of a band.
Is there pressure to do that, to not just to find ways to reinvent the songs that people know? Because obviously people want the familiar tracks that they know from you guys, but they don't just want you to press play. You've got to bring a little bit of.
It's not reinventing because it's how we write them.
Right. Okay.
We write the songs on keyboards and we write the songs using those machines. So, it's not completely weird for us. And plus, we're musicians before songwriters. Really, I've been playing drums since I was about 3 years old. Howard's been doing bass since he was about 5 or 6, and piano. So yeah, that's for us more natural than DJing or anything like that, or making music. So it was never even a thing that we should do it. It was like that's all what we were always going to do. Yeah.
The new album Caracal, I'm saying that right, isn't it?
Yeah.
Caracal, which is it's a cat, isn't it? A caracal is.
It is a cat. Yes,
It's an
that's
animal.
the album artwork would suggest.
Now it's So it's why the name? Why naming it after a cat?
Well, because we work in the way that we do with lots of different artists featuring on our songs, and we write the songs with all of those artists personally, in the room. Sometimes they want to talk about something that's happening in their own lives, and for that reason, there's not one single concept that runs throughout the record in terms of the the meaning behind the songs. It's all unrelated stuff. From one song to the next. So there wasn't really one name that would sum up every meaning of every song, unless it was a really self-indulgently long title. So instead we thought we'd pick like an artwork that we loved and then name the album after the artwork. So we went with my favorite animal, which is the caracal.
What is it about the caracal? Why is it your favorite?
Well, it's like the size of like a dog, like a Labrador or something, but it can jump 10 feet in the air and catch birds like mid-flight and
got
stuff.
massive
like
ears,
and it's got cool ears, and they just look awesome.
Just cool, and it sounds cool. It's a cool name as well, Caracal. But I got props to you guys for creating the album, because it sounds like a cohesive album. Like it does sound like it doesn't sound like they're club tracks. It sounds like they're conventionally written songs.
Yeah,
totally. That's definitely was the kind of rough idea anyway. As we were going through, it's kind of what we realised we were doing.
Yeah.
The last album was predominantly house and garage, and we've done a whole album of that now, so we didn't want to just do that again. And plus, our favourite albums anyway, especially when it's done by bands or a songwriter. They're not all the same speed the whole way through and the same genre. You kind of have happy and fast and slow and sad songs, and it's peaks and troughs, and that's what makes an album interesting to me anyway, and to Howard. So we wanted to try and do that, take a variety of genres and different tempos, work with loads of different people as well, but still try and maintain the kind of Disclosure sort of vibe and the sounds.
It's a freedom that we've been given by the fact that we play the live show in the way that we do with instruments and stuff. Because I think if you're a DJ and a producer, you kind of almost have to produce songs that you can play in your DJ set, so they have to be a certain speed and a certain style. Whereas we can play at any speed because we stop between songs, and there's like a round of applause, and then you do another song like a band. In that way, I think we are much more like a band in that that's how we play the shows, but we just produce it in the style of electronic music instead. Was
it hard to make an album feel like a cohesive body of work, like an album, when you're working with so many different artists, as you said? Like you couldn't find a common theme, for an album title, but you've worked with The Weeknd was on there, Sam Smith, obviously, Lorde, Gregory Porter, Miguel. So you've got so many different artists that you're working with. How do you get that sense of it still being an album?
Yeah, that's definitely the most difficult part about what we do, in making a Disclosure record. With that cohesive blend between all the songs is the hardest bit. I guess the only thing I can say is we know the sounds that we like, and people know us for certain sounds, like the kind of old school drum machine sounds, which we get from house music, and our kind of warm synths and the jazzy chords and stuff like that. So I think as long as we kept those throughout all the songs, the variety would just come from the different voices and the singers, you know. So we could keep the kind of core kind of sounds quite similar from song to song, like you would if you're in a band, you know. If you're in a band, you know, the guitarist doesn't start playing harp the next song, does he? And he doesn't start playing trumpet, he just plays guitar the whole album. So we were like, let's just pick our kind of favourite sounds and favourite instruments, kind of stick roughly with them, and then we'll let the singers do the variety.
Another thing, I guess, that that makes it a little bit easier is that, you know, a lot of producers, especially at the moment, write that you know, they produce the track, but they get someone else to write it for them, and then they get the singer to sing it, the song.
Like you guys are songwriters.
Well, yeah, exactly. So there's that kind of level of cohesion in that all the melodies and lyrics are by us.
Yeah, it definitely helps when you do it yourself.
Well.
So do you sit down with someone like a Sam Smith and write together?
Yeah, always. Yeah, we never do the whole sending beats away or anything like that. We always get in the room with the singer and write the song as if they're in the band for the day.
Yep. Yeah. How do you decide who you're going to work with? Has it been the people that have approached you and you've sort of had that, you've felt that connection, or have you had like a criteria of artists that you've wanted to collaborate with?
I mean, they're generally just artists that we're big fans of, and also ones that we've, you know, met and become friends with through touring and through doing this job, really. But then, there's others that we'd never met before, and we had to approach them via email or whatever. And you know, in the hope that they were mutual fans, and luckily, literally everyone we approached said yes. We didn't have any problems getting people on the record this time, which I guess is one of the perks of, you know, having a bit of success.
Yeah, I suppose everyone saw what you did with Sam Smith. Obviously, he's phenomenally talented on his own, but Latch was really the track that blew it up.
It was what he stepped out with. For
that's
sure,
good on the resume. That looks good for you.
Yeah. Maybe we should make a resume next time, send it out.
And you worked with Sam Smith again on Omen as well, which is another phenomenal track. Was there pressure? Because, I mean, obviously Latch was the really big one for you guys. And you finished with that last night at the gig, which was awesome. But to follow it up with Omen, was there pressure to make something that was...
only personal pressure. Only willing to do better. You know, we don't really mind what other people think about our music. It's just a bonus if lots of people like it, and you know, great that we get to play big shows. But when we're in the studio, like, none of that really matters. All we want to do is push ourselves. And all we wanted to do was do something different. It wasn't trying to top it or anything like that. It was just to do something different. So, you know, it's a different speed, it's a different time signature, it's a different vibe, it's about a completely different thing. So that's all we wanted to do, really.
I think also it kind of made sense, because I mean, we're best mates with Sam, and he's like one of the best singers ever. So why wouldn't we work with him? You know, we love working with Sam, whether it's for our stuff, for his stuff, or like, you know, the Bond theme or whatever. Like, we're always going to work together with Sam because we're mates.
Were you mates with him before you worked with him?
No, we met him the day we wrote Latch, right, and then we kind of became friends from that.
The day you wrote Latch, like, was it literally one day writing?
Well, we were working with Jimmy Napes, who's like our partner in crime that we always write with, and he'd been working with Sam and played us a really early demo of Sam's song "Lay Me Down" that they'd written together, and we were like, "Wow, who's that? Like, let's get him."
I've
in the
heard
studio.
that one.
Yeah. And so we just got Sam down to our little tiny bedroom studio in Surrey and in England, and wrote Latch. Yeah.
Wow, and the rest is history. And you've worked with Lorde as well, so the new track, which is Magnets, which is phenomenal, amazing.
Thanks.
What was that like? How's it like working with her? Because I mean, she's had a explosive career over the past few years. So.
Yeah, man, it was great. I mean, we met her a few years ago performing together at the Brit Awards in London, and so we kind of knew that she was, you know, like an amazing singer and really nice. We got on well, so we said, you know, why don't we get in the studio? And it was one of those things where our schedules just never quite worked out, and it got to 2 years later, and then eventually we got in the studio. And yeah, she's amazing, man. Like, we didn't really know how heavily involved she was in all of her songwriting and her even production. You know, she got really heavily involved. Like, even after we'd finished writing the song with her and she went back to New Zealand, she'd send emails like, "Can you turn the snare down in bar 33?" Blah, 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 and all this stuff. But that's, you know, we love that. Yeah. We love that level of involvement and you know, attention to detail. I think it's great.
Have you ever had the opposite? Have you ever had even just an introduction with someone, and then you've sort of figured out they're not quite as into the songwriting process, and you've
totally. I mean, it's not for everyone working with us. We especially we like to take people out of their comfort zones, and sometimes you can take it too far. You know, you never know what it's going to be like. You know, but sometimes it can really work. Like Gregory Porter, for instance. You know, he's from the jazz world. He's never sung on a dance track, but you can make it work if you do it in the right approach. But it's all just luck as well. You know, you can get the most amazing singer in, but if you write the wrong song on the wrong day, It might
Yeah.
not be right for them, but you might show it to someone else and it'll be right for them. Or then you might write another song later down the line and be like, oh, I wish we'd written that one with so-and-so instead. And, you know, it's all just kind of good timing and trial and error, yeah.
Who do you want to work with next? Is there anyone in mind, or is it just whoever knocks on the door?
I mean, again, it's probably
any
gonna
OF,
be-
yeah. This tramp keeps coming up to my house and
Yeah.
he just keeps knocking on my door. I'm going to let
a strong contender.
Him, yeah.
No, I think I mean, there's people that we've always kind of vaguely said we'd like to work with, but it's rather unlikely. I mean, Prince is a huge idol of ours. We'd love to do a track with him one day, but I don't know. I think he lives like in a golden palace in the clouds somewhere. So I'm not sure how you contact him.
Yeah, how do you even reach Prince? How do
I want to
you...
work with Prince and Lando Calrissian.
And Luke
Yeah,
imagine how
Skywalker
sick
as
that
well.
would be.
Topical reference, yeah,
It
good.
would be so good.
And what are your plans for the rest of your time you're here in Australia? Do you get to do anything apart from work? I imagine you're here doing promo like right now, talking to me,
Yeah.
and you've been obviously
Yeah.
doing shows. Do you get to do anything outside of that?
Well, I'm pretty hungover actually. Went out partying last night.
I saw a few Instagram videos of you guys pop up from last night.
Yeah, we went to watch our friend Acid Jack. He was putting on a night, and it was just like everyone was DJing. So we played for
Yeah.
a bit and just kind of hung out in the club, which was fun.
Yeah.
Gonna try and go to Chin Chin's in a minute, which is like one of our favourite restaurants here.
Right, so you know a few of the local.
Asian Fusion. Yep, we know a few of the locals.
Any other tips? Any other culinary
that's the best-
disclosure
that's the best-
recommends
That's the
places
best
to eat in Melbourne?
Oh, well, actually, yeah, we're staying at the Langham, and the buffet there is insane. Like insane. Yeah, like the best buffet I've ever seen.
Awesome. Well, enjoy, guys. Enjoy your time in Melbourne. Thank you for coming in and chatting to me despite being hungover and having a huge show last night. The album Caracal is phenomenal. It's an amazing piece of work. So
Thanks so much,
congratulations.
man.
And Grammy nominated as well, should mention that. So
Oh, yeah.
congratulations. Just drop that one in. Thanks for dropping by, guys. It's been
Thanks,
awesome.
bro. Thank you so
man.
much.
Cheers.
Awesome.